Welcome, Sojourners, to the Women's Leadership Mindset series presented by Teresa K. Page, LLC. My name is Teresa Page. I am your host and looking forward to spending these next few moments with all of you. We have a lot of work to get done on today, but first, allow me to invite you to connect with me by subscribing to my website and YouTube channel. Connect and follow me on LinkedIn, and always feel free to contact me directly via email at teresakpagellc@outlook.com. So what is our goal? Well, as an author, speaker, coach, and mentor, my mission is to help professional women renew their leadership mindset with fresh fire and purpose through the mediums of leadership development and coaching services. However, the Women's Leadership Mindset series is a new initiative intended to spotlight powerful women leaders and how they serve the world through their professions and purpose. So with the goal to help women realize their unfulfilled dreams and re-energize the leaders they always were, this platform is designed to enhance, empower, educate, equalize, and even emancipate, as our special guests share their entrepreneurial stories, provide valuable resources, and guidance in a caring, professional, and impactful manner. So, let's get down to business. Hi there, leaders. Today I just wanted to take a moment to share an unlikely perspective about the inside out approach to love. Some time ago, when I first prayed to ask the Lord to teach me about love, the ultimate goal was to learn how to make a romantic relationship, or how to take a romantic relationship to the next level. As I started to do some research, the very first lesson I came upon was from the late Dr. Miles Monroe. And he did a series about love and really hitting home the point that love is not an emotion, but that love is a decision. So over the years, there was more lessons. This was just the first lesson, but there were more lessons to learn over the following years. But this first lesson helped me to endure the blow of hearing that same person I had romantic interest in, to hear them say that they did not love me. So as I think back to that particular day, I can absolutely accept that they did not love me. I'm not a kid, so you can accept that. And I accepted that the first time that I heard it, but what I was not prepared for was hearing them say, "I don't love you," over and over and over again. And I suppose in that moment I should have reacted, um, but I was in a public place. And instead of anger, there was this strange calm that came over me that set on me, that allowed me to be quiet, so I could survive sitting in that public restaurant, um, to survive riding in the car together, and constant asking of what I felt about what was being said to me. I recall that when I was finally ready to speak, I thought maybe I would have responded or would have expressed some hurt, some anger, some sadness. But instead, I reverted back to that lesson that I had been listening to with the late Dr. Miles Monroe about love. And I began to share what I learned about love. And then I went home, and I was able to go home with my head up. Now, That's not to say I didn't feel some kind of way about the entire situation, because even though there was a strange calm that allowed me to survive that particular moment in time, when all of that kind of wore off, of course, there was the feelings of being embarrassed, maybe a little heartbroken, and of course, shedding a tear or two. That's natural. But there was a change afoot, ladies and gentlemen. You see, because up to this point in my life, I always sought love external of myself. I always, from a little girl, even way into my adult life, and sometimes I have to catch myself from time to time. I always loved from the, always sought love external of myself. And that's natural. I'm not kicking against it. We're supposed to be able to love our family, our friends, and even those that we decide that we want to love romantically in that space as well as in other spaces. But because I've always sought love external of myself, in any other scenario, this particular instance would have resulted into me kind of hating on myself a little bit, really just beating myself up, feeling like it was a waste of time. That had always been my MO. But as the years began to teach me the difference between loving outside in versus loving inside out, I discovered that love is never wasted, y'all. Love is never wasted. And that we should never be sorry for the love that we feel and for the love that we decide to express to others. I also discovered that love is a constant resource that cannot be exhausted, and that we are capable, because we are love personified. We are always fully stocked with plenty of love so that we can give it to those that choose to bask in our light, and also so that we can always make room for love all over again. I think I saw that a quote from the great Dr. Maya Angelou, the late Dr. Maya Angelou, is that always be willing to give love another try. Let it always be just one more time that we're willing to try love, regardless of what the relationship is, that we will always give love another try. Just one more try every single time. So, in learning to live and to love from the inside out perspective, it required me to do three things. First and foremost, it required me to revert and to understand who I am as an individual before I can take anyone else into consideration. That I had to learn how to understand who I am. And not just about who I am as far as who I am intrinsically, or, what I like, what I dislike, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what my gifts, my callings, and all those other kind of things. I didn't only need to understand that, but I needed to understand why I existed, what I was capable of, what I'm motivated by, how high I can perform, can I fly, to what extent can I create. So through communing, being able to commune with my own heart and taking just personal inventory of all of what my abilities were, or at least what I know up until this point, in addition to taking a variety of self-assessments, I began to understand my intrinsic DNA. And I am learning how to properly value my innate features, my senses, my instincts, my capabilities, my desires, all of that. And as I gained a greater knowledge and love for myself, I am enabled to form what I consider an outward 3D view of the world. First, as it is, second, as it could be, and what role I am predestined to play to reach a desired outcome. There's something about knowing. There's a power in knowing. And so knowing exactly what I bring to the world's table, it helps me to understand my rightful place or my rightful domain. It helps me to understand as far as my career or level of entrepreneurship or even what industry that I want to work in. It helps me to better understand, to help me find my rightful sphere of influence so that I can live out my calling in full concentration and capacity. That's what the power of knowing about ourselves, the power of being able to love ourselves. That was one of the things about learning how to love in this inside out perspective. Um, this is just one of the things. And this is a big lesson. And this right here took some time to learn. And I will venture to say that I'm still even in this space even now. I believe that this is possibly an ongoing endeavor. And the reason why I say that is because as we get older, we evolve into somebody else. We discover new things about ourselves, new treasures about ourselves that we have to learn how to love and appreciate and value all over again. So I am prone to believe that this is a lifetime endeavor and that this particular process of learning to love myself or learning how to love ourselves, that this is an ongoing thing because we're ever discovering something else amazing, something else that's not so sexy, something else that we might need to work on, something else, another area of opportunity. But we have to learn how to love and appreciate all of those things, regardless of what stage in our lives that we're in. So I was saying that the second thing, that learning how to live and love from the inside out perspective required me to consider love's character as a metric to approach and to evaluate all of my personal, my professional, and my faith relationships. So the more that I understood love, and I'm leaning in very hard on 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and though we're not going to Bible study, but it is clear that for me this is a foundation. So the more that I understood that love is long suffering, is kind, rejoices in the truth, supports all things, believes all things, hopes in all things, endures all things, that love cannot envy, cannot boast, cannot behave improperly, cannot insist upon its own way, cannot provoke easily, cannot think evil, cannot rejoice in wrongdoing, and above all, cannot fail. The more I am equipped, the more that I understood this about love, the more I am equipped and responsible for making better informed decisions about who I love, who I trust, who I befriend, who I do business with, who I choose to do life with. And the less likely I am totally devastated should any of these kinds of relationships not survive because they did not align with love's measurements. So I get it. We are to love one another. But for whatever reason, we have adopted this idea that just because we love one another, that we're supposed to just let anyone, any and everyone, invade our environment when we absolutely know that they are not good for us. We know it, we see it, we even get a bad sense about it when certain people come into our space. And we know that they can bring some type of level of harm and disrupt our peace. So, away with this notion that just because I love you, that you can bring toxicity into my environment. Away with that. I believe that we are responsible for maintaining a sense of peace. If we can help people, help people. But it is not only okay to love from a distance. I can love you from over there. There are also instances where this concept is in imperative, that it is imperative. So I can love you, but I can love you from over there, especially if I know that you can bring harm into my space. So learning how to consider love's character as a metric or a matrix, so to speak. It is that golden measurement, that gold standard of measurement in all of the aspects of our lives. And I think that's so powerful. And so, with that, the third thing that was required of me as far as learning how to live and to love from the inside out perspective was grasping that love is a superpower, my protector, and nothing to be played with. As sweet as I understood love to be, I also had to grasp that love is the most atomic superpower available to the human family, and it's nothing to be played with. Through real life challenges and through dangers that were obvious, that were seen, as well as dangers that I wasn't even aware of, I learned that love is my defense. So I don't have to pretend to be invincible. I'm a black woman, I'm a strong black woman, but I'm not invincible. So I don't have to pretend to be, because love is my defense. Love is also my rear guard. So I don't have to waste time always looking over my shoulder and wasting a lot of time and energy trying to self-preserve or to self-protect or always just be on edge, which is a way that I've always lived my life, where I didn't necessarily trust people. I was always self-preserving. So love is also not just my defense, but love is also my rear guard. Love is my shield, so that I am empowered to walk through the full force of any experience or unsavory experience, unaware of blunt impacts. There are moments that we have to endure sometimes, that if love is not our shield, if we haven't figured out how to maintain a sense of peace or how to stay grounded or how to maintain our faith when we're having to go through unfavorable conditions, if we're not careful, that by the time we get to the other side, we could be extremely damaged. But if we can wrap ourselves in love when we're having to force to engage or encounter in very hard moments, then I can walk through that moment one step at a time, keeping focus on the road, aware of what's going on around me, but not allowing it to consume me. So, with love being my shield, I can walk through anything and not be damaged on the other side. I might have a scratch or two. That's part of life, but not to be damaged where I fall in a hole or where I can't recover. Even if I have a season of healing or being restored, that I'm not permanently damaged. So love is my shield. Hey, listen, love is also my foe. Love is not always friendly. Love is my foe that has blocked the entrance of territories or places I really wanted to go into that I was just really overzealous about, or or even if it was somebody that I really wanted to know or get next to or whatever. Love is a foe where it will either block your entrance or it can even disturb your peace. And especially in places where I'm just hell bent to go, even if I receive warning or even if there was good reason not to do so, there are moments that we're just plain hard headed. And in some of those moments, love has proven to be not so friendly and to be my foe, to block the entrance without care and did not care, or to block the opportunity of getting to know certain people and did not blink twice about it. That's another side, a very important side of love, especially if we've been warned and especially if we know that there's good reason why we should not approach certain areas or certain people. And I will also have to say that love is my nemesis. That if I do encounter certain moments of defeat and I just want to be left alone, just leave me alone. That whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish, and if I fail at it, or if it seemed like I failed at it, you just want to be left alone. Just let me give up right here. I'm tired. I've had enough. Let me just let me just forget about it. Whatever it is I'm trying to attain, whatever that prize is that I'm trying to get my hands on, and I keep working at it and I keep failing at it. But after a while and by, you get tired of getting up. That's just part of the human experience. But love says is my nemesis. No, you're not. No, you're not. And again, will force you to get up in one way or another to make your environment uncomfortable or to make circumstances so uncomfortable or even to show you a light to say I could get up and I could take another couple of steps. I can go another mile. So love is a nemesis like that will not allow us to stop the work, whatever the work may be, that will not allow us to stop the work. So, because love takes on the responsibility of protecting and correcting me, making me get up, and everything else, because love is my protector and it's good like that, even when it doesn't always feel good, because love takes on the responsibility of protecting me, then all I have to focus on is just being wonderful. That's all we have to focus on is just be wonderful. Leave certain things to love if we choose to build a relationship with love, to love ourselves, to build a relationship with love. And that relationship for me is translated with my relationship with the Lord from a faith-based perspective. So that's how I see love, and that's how love has developed me. It's through that personal relationship that I have with the Lord and His development to help me live the life that I believe that He has prepared me for. So that's how love is demonstrated for me. It may be different for you, but that is my source. So if love or if the Lord is my protector, then that's all I have to worry about. It's just being wonderful. All I have to focus on is devising the solutions that are necessary to bring relief to whatever assignment I am called to. So I can devise those solutions, so I can restore beauty to my assigned domain. And all I have to do is work on building wealth for my family and for future generations with the solutions that I am positioned to devise, because I'm not giving all of my energy over to self-preserving or being in spaces I'm not supposed to be in, or tangling up my life with people that are just time burners that mean me no good one way or another. So, bottom line, love does not play about us. Love is serious about showing us who we are through love's eyes, through its eyes, so that we can see ourselves the way that love sees us. So love is serious about that. It's serious about showing us how to utilize this character as a universal matrix so that we can measure all aspects of our lives. And love is serious about helping us to stay on our predestined paths by any means necessary. So I have to admit that learning to live and to love from the inside out instead of the outside in, it has been one of the hardest things for me, especially in my later years. And I still got a little ways to go. I'm not where I started. Lord knows I'm not where I started. But I still have not fully achieved everything. So I'm still working on that. I am still a work in progress. But even though I still have a little ways to go, I get it now. And I get it that if we can endeavor to love ourselves well, at face value, as we are right now, today, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the we're not sure what it is, if we could figure out how to love ourselves at face value today, then maybe, just maybe, we can figure out how to love others well. So this is just one of the lessons that love has taught me in this journey. And for those of you that know me, love is the foundation of my work, my writings, my conferences, and anything that I do is at the heart of every single thing that I do. And I employ love to renew women's leadership mindset with fresh fire and fresh purpose so that we are able to effect true transformational change in our communities, our domains of industry, as well as with our global economy. That is my mission. And so for those of you that need a fresh perspective about who you are as an individual, how wonderfully you are valued, how you should see the world through love's eyes, and how to form better relationships utilizing love's matrix, I cordially invite you to consider Love the Success Factor Women's Leadership Conference. This is our opportunity to be able to demonstrate how God's love empowers us as women so that we can lead, we can create, we can generate wealth in the fullness of our equality, our purpose, as well as in our businesses or our work. So I would love to be able to invite you to let's create an intimate event for whether it's your friends or family or your organization, your team or your congregation, because together we will reimagine love as the ultimate success factor. So we can help you to re-energize the leader within and also help you to reprioritize any of your unfulfilled goals for fulfillment. So to learn more, you may visit my website at teresakpage.squarespace.com, and there you can book an appointment for a 30-minute complimentary discovery meeting, and let's discuss how we can create this special opportunity for you and for those that you love. But in the meantime, ladies, gentlemen, leaders, entrepreneurs, authors, whatever you are, wherever you are in the world, let's start taking some time to love ourselves from the inside out instead of outside in. So thank you for joining in for another episode of the Women's Leadership Mindset series. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, here's to the journey, and let's move forward.